So I'm in a brand new place, and it's a temporary place, but it's an echoey place. I'm gonna have to make this work for a little while. So I've got a bunch of insulation for the garage door. That helps keep the noise out from the outside. There's a lot of construction, it's a brand new neighborhood. And then also I've got a bunch of plywood and a bunch of 2x4s with which I'm gonna make the shelves. The first thing that I've done so far, I picked the hardest panel because I'm kind of ornery sucker that way. I want it to be easier as I go. But what I did is I cut the back side of it just like the kits. There's kits that you can buy. They're usually, for me to do this, I'd have to get 3 kits at 60 bucks each. So it would basically be $180. If I did it with this kind of foam, I get that silver backing, which is just hard to get in. The reason why is you see this angle here, my handle disappeared behind this side. My handle also disappeared behind this side. So you got these 4 foot by 2 foot sections. So I gotta cut this board that's got coating or plastic on both sides. It's pretty effective. It's about I think it's about $115 to do it this way. So it's less money, more mess, and that's what the shop vac's here for. And there's a shop vac. Gap is 1.5 inches, so you could do 2 3/4 inch boards, and a lot of people do that. So this one's 1.5 inches. Just do the one board. Having multiple layers, sometimes that can help. But I watched a bunch of videos on YouTube about how to do this right, and they say you get a good, 2 to 6 degree difference. Say if your garage door is 125 degrees, if you do the white side this way, it'll be 85 degrees. Huge jump down in temperature transfer, heat transfer. And then if you do it with the silver side that way, then it goes to like 78 degrees if you do like the laser thermometer gun. So that's what we're doing, the silver side this way. Plus these are already silver, and so it kind of matches. Let me show you what I do here. One advantage of just buying the kit is they're scored already. They've got a bunch of scores going lengthwise that helps it to be able to bend. Basically there's empty spaces in between, and those empty spaces go a long way to making it easy to fold or to bend to get in there. Basically you want to bend it like this, so you can pre-bend it with your knee. I wanted an expedient way of doing this. I didn't want to wait and kind of order the kits in. So you do it the white way, it would look like this. Lots of advertising for these foam people, Artec. Or you could do silver, and it just kind of match and look better. So I chose that. You want it tight. Little looseness, a little bit is good because it gives it sound of chips. This is so easy. I'm gonna learn some tricks about it. Stay tuned, I'm gonna show you what the tricks are. My door here is an ideal shape because it's 8 foot from here down to the bottom, and then it's 2 foot in each section. And then each of these are 4 feet. So basically I can take one sheet, and do a vertical section. So I just count it 1, 2, 3, 4 sheets to do the garage door here. And this one just 8 or 9 by 8, something like that. Anyway, I just count them. So here's what I've learned so far. We got a pocket edge here, a pocket edge here. So we want to focus on getting that pocket in there first. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to just stick the corner down in there, and then I'm going to pull and kind of bend it. I'm pulling back in the middle, pushing down on this side. So I'm just going to work that trick, work that jig as much as I can, as far as I can down the foam, and then let it go, and then shove it into the pocket. Next thing to do is work this edge, because this edge is against the flat. So we do kind of the same thing. I'm going to try to shove it in the corner as much as I can. Then start to work this corner. Start from the back side of it. Just squish it, because foam's squishy. And then pull it down. Push in, pull it down. Over, in, down, all that sort of thing. So now I don't have to break the board. Doesn't have to be as big a fight. Now some of the panels that are going to be tough are going to be these, because there's a pocket behind that, and then the end there's a pocket here and a pocket there. So with those, it's probably a good idea to just cut them in half. Do half of it. Say for example, on this one, I would cut it right down here. So I'm going to cut it in the middle here. I'm going to tuck that one in, and then I'm going to tuck this one in, and then run tape, or don't, in here. Because it's held all the way around, it's such a tight squeeze, they really don't want to go anywhere. They're happy to be where they are. Look at all this reflective stuff. It's probably going to help with reflected light too. Be like those little, you ever see people getting bridal photos or engagement photos and some dude's holding one of these big things reflecting the light back at them for a nice even lighting? Sweet, bonus feature. This one here's been split up the middle. The reason why is because it's such a deep pocket with that top rail and then the side pocket. And of course you got the smaller pocket here. It's tough. So what I did is just cut it in half. Show you on this one. It's too much because this is so deep here, and this is so deep here. There's no way. So hold it up first, make sure that you're good. I failed to do that on this one, and I ran out of room, which is not to be done. So just take this, cut it in half. If you have a square or something, that's great. If not, cut from the shoulder. If you have a longer knife, that seems to help. Just let it fold in half. Incidentally, when you're cutting these to length 2 foot, when you go to fold it back, you know, to cut the other side, the paper or plastic, what you can do is score it along here and mark your next one. That'll save you time if you're cutting a bunch of them. Get more efficient, get it done a little faster. Throw it to the ground. Put my knees in it and just kind of give it a little preliminary flex. And then as I push out the flow out, slide it over, and do the next one. Let's do the same thing, let's give it a little bend. This is basically what all those messy cuts in the factory kit accomplishes, is just get through the flex. Way easier. That's a tight fit. That's where I popped it. It pretty much healed up anyway. You might want to do this for almost all of them, because look at this one. This one was a pain. Had a bunch of errors. This one was a pain. If I'd have just done it in 2 pieces, it'd be a little mark in the middle. No big deal. I like to do it the white side up. It gives you a better reference. Got all those little eyes. Alright, so mark it at 60. A little bit less than 60 centimeters. These are about 2 foot panels. Throw our little thing. It landed right on top of one of those eye marks. It's really convenient. That's what they're there for. From one direction, the other direction. Grab on either side of it. See how that breaks? So it broke, right? Just take your knife and cut, assuming that your panels are the same on each of them, you cut the other way. Then you grab the side of it, get it to break, bring it to you this way. You see how these are perfectly even with each other? Makes a perfect stencil. The trouble is, you gotta be mindful of how long your knife is, or you start to get a really curved cut, which isn't a terrible thing, but so we cut that way, do the same thing, bring it up like this, flip it over. This saves so much time doing it this way. You gotta go from this side, because we got that big nut. sheet, and it's just ready to rock. You just unzip the ends. First one you cut it really pretty. And the second one you cut, third, fourth, they're still really pretty. You get to the end and you realize it's going to be tucked behind where no one's going to see. And you stop cutting them pretty. Just get her done. So if you're in a factory where they're doing these things, you'd find they're just flying through them. Just get more efficient. But what a great little thing that is, huh? Now I've got 4 of them cut in a matter of seconds. This panel's a little shorter than 4 feet, so I start to cut it like that. Then don't even bother going to the back side. Get rid of it. Take this, knife it down the middle. And if you're careful, you won't get a little bit of a cut here. If you're not careful, you will. Not the end of the world. I'll set this one aside. And here's the trick. You're already down here on the ground, kneel on it. You see how I flex this thing like this? It's like the perfect little press. It's like a little press brake. Then you take the panel, it goes in super easy, back it to the side, do the same to the other. Press them like this. Remember, we've got pocket, 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 so this is a really difficult panel. This would be a real wrestling match if you were to try to do it, you know, the intuitive way. If you do it this way, it bends right down in there. Pops in, easy as you please. This keeps a lot of your yuck in 2 places. All this little debris I have here, where I'll hit it with a shop vac, and I have it over here at the end, where again I'll hit it with a shop vac. So this does create a little bit of a gap. You know, you can take your gap or do whatever you want to do with it. And cut that one a little too short because I was being speedy against filming. Alright, so we'll try another panel. This one, you know, it's got pockets on 3 sides, the deep pocket being this one. We'll take this, shove it down in the corner. Not before we do this. But those little ones really flex easier than these bigger ones do too. That's another thing to consider. Sounds like the neighborhood kids are out of school. Insulation's going to come in handy. Keep the soundtrack clean. It's better to have a little slit in the middle than to have a bunch of breaks all through it. A bunch of crush lines. This was more of a wrestling match, and it's a lot harder to keep it clean. I've been using these body panel knives and kind of cheating to get these things to sit down and go in. I'll leave a link in the description of both the easy panels, fight free panels, as well as these body panel knives. They're pretty handy. If you want to bring a knife to a knife fight, you want to bring a gun to a gun fight. You're going to try popping the panels in like this. You want to bring the right tool for the job. Whew. I'll just fall all over myself, I'm so excited. So I've got one more sheet to do, looks like. And then we'll get the other door. I'm most of the way done. This is actually cruising along pretty good. Got myself a little obstacle course to make it even more exciting. Do another one of these. See where this has this big pocket here and a big one here? Cut it in half. You know, as far as insulation value, you're not going to be losing that much considering, I don't think. Alright, so knife it in half. Flex it. Pre-flex. Bang! Don't shoot. Yeah, I got a little too excited on that one. Watch me create a system out of that I like best. Happy little accidents, as Bob would often say. Guy that paints scenery, makes everything did is there's already kind of a grain to it. I went through the little peek hole. I'm good on that one. Have you noticed the glue that I'm using is drying really quickly because I'm not using any glue? Great. Aha! The straighter you cut this, the easier it is. I kind of arced this way, so now it's fighting me. I'm going to flex this. Be a little more careful this time. This foam is so, you know, you squish it, but it's pretty rigid. It really holds the shape pretty good. You can make model airplanes out of this stuff, and they do. There's no workout equipment made out of it that I know of, but there could be. Boy, it's stuff hard, yeah. Maybe I just spend too much time sitting at a desk editing video. Maybe I'm out of shape, it's me, not the phone. Could be that I've just got so many projects I'm trying to rush it through. No, I had to use the body panel knife on this part in the middle before, but it works. Ooh, that's tight. There's not going to be any air gap or problem with that. That'll be great. Well, I think that's all the tips and tricks for now. It's coming along. Look at this big old thing. It's actually a lot quieter in here, and you'll notice that the echo is way less than it used to be. I think the door was a big contributor for the echo. So it's not so echoey anymore. Even if I'm loud, it doesn't echo so much, and you don't hear a lot of noise coming from the outside. You don't hear the trucks and the cars and all that as much as you did before, which is nice, but the biggest benefit to insulating the door is the temperature difference. This is like a radiant heater. When the sun hits it, it gets hot, just like your panels or your roof on your car, your hood. Glass, when it's exposed to the direct sunlight, it heats up, and the aluminum of the garage door transfers that heat to the inside really well. When I take the temperature of the door with and without the panels, I've had the insulation on the door now for about 3 or 4 months through the summer, and it's made a tremendous difference in how cool it is in here, as well as the acoustic benefit. It's not nearly as echoey as it was before. Some of that's due in part to what I've done with the shelving. When you have shelves, instead of the sound waves hitting the surface, you know, think of it like water. You know, if you drop a pebble in a nice flat, serene, placid lake or something, the ripples go really far and bounce off and go somewhere else. If there's a bunch of trees or whatever sticking up out of the water, or a marsh or something of that nature, then the sound waves bounce off and they get destroyed basically. So with all these shelves, that's basically what's happened. The shelves have made a really big difference in the acoustics, but also the door helps as well in not introducing more sound. Plus the aluminum acts like a drum face, or it acts like a stretched out leather skid on a drum. It just really vibrates it and echoes a lot. As far as tips and things that I learned when I was doing this, I learned that when you use a shop vac to vacuum this stuff up, it makes it clean up really easy. But when you go to dump the shop vac out, it's been spinning in that dry air, and it makes it really staticky. What I found helps is to vacuum some dirt, you know, vacuum dust or debris or anything else, and then that dirt sticks to the styrofoam, those little balls, and it causes them to be a little heavier and to work a little better in terms of cleanup. So if you have a mess that you've been meaning to vacuum up, it's a great idea to do it while that foam is in there. Another thing that really makes a big difference is before putting the panels in is to just flex them. Take your knee and just bend them a little bit on your knee, so that when you go to collapse it in to get past these lips here and here, it'll do so without as much fight, and it won't snap. If you can do that flexing evenly across the surface, then you don't break out the corners. I had a couple of corners break out. This door was really easy because each of the panels were 4 foot by 8 foot, and that's what the sheet is, so I just cut them this way. I had to cut them a little bit smaller If you make them too tight, especially this direction, then it deforms the door a little bit. I mean, it stays in really well, but it'll make your door sound funny when it goes up and down. It'll creak and make that styrofoam squeaky sound. If you don't like that, then you make sure to just make it as accurate a fit as you can and not go too tight. On the other door, it turns out that was a 9-foot door. It was 8 foot tall by 9 foot. So I had to do a little bit of cutting and adjustment to get the little end pieces for that additional length or width, I guess you'd say. Let me show you how that turns. So this is that 9-foot door, and you can see that I've got a little slice right here, and it didn't take a whole lot. It's just a foot because it tucks in behind here. And it's just done a really great job. I've been really impressed with the performance of it. It's just been great. I've been really happy with it. I did have to change the way that I cut it though, because actually this isn't 4 foot wide. This is, I guess, 4.5. So I just had to cut it from a couple of extra sheets. Aside from insulating the garage door, another thing that really helped is getting some blown-in insulation put in here. Leno and Ezra up there, and they're putting in the blow-in insulation. Pretty cool setup. You don't see any kinks in the hose. But last night I got the shelves put in. There's going to be 2 of them there. You can see the second runners here. But I got all the lag bolts up in there so I can have all kinds of, you know, the box tools, and then when I transfer over it'll just be handy for Christmas decorations and things of that nature. Got the floor painted halfway. There's 11 tiles or 11 sections total. I got 6 out of 5 done. So this is that tile clad nuclear power plant paint. It's a 2-part setup. Been doing a lot of cherry coke lately. But just a tile clad HS, and I went with an eggshell, and I'm going to do a second coat over the top of a lot of areas, because when we ground the concrete flat, because they got caught in a rainstorm when they poured it, long story short, had to grind the whole floor and get it all smoothed out. You look in the corner where I couldn't get with the grinder, you see how rough it is. It was just bad. So I had to cut that flat. That made a big mess. Had to buy a shop vac to get that cleaned up, and then immediately after you do that, you got to power wash it. That gets up all the grease, and then you don't have to acid etch because you already etched it mechanically. But anyway, that's what we're up to. This will really help with the sound in here, because aside from being really echoey, there was a lot of sound that would come in through the eaves around the outside. So this will really help for sound and temperature, as I said. More stuff for shelves. There's the old air compressor.
A lot of space.
I got that fireproof cellulose stuff blown in, the recycled newspaper, and it's just made a big difference. So much, in fact, that I haven't had to use the window air conditioner, and it's been nice and cool, even though it's been upwards of 100 degrees on the outside, and with the sun beating down on this, I was able to keep that heat at bay and be able to be comfortable in here. So here's a leftover piece I'll just do a close-up of. So you can see the little eye marks that I referred to earlier, how they go across. That'll help you hold a straight line. Looks like they're about every 4 inches or so, and then about every 2 inches vertically. Silver on one side and white on the other. I just want to reiterate that the performance of it's better if you have a silver side facing in. Gives it kind of a fun spacey look to it, 1980s or Space Odyssey, it's cool.